play Scrabble? Are you old enough to play the game Monopoly? What about the game of Minecraft? It's been around for 10 years. Well, hi, my name is Doug DeVitri. This is my son, Harry. And today we're going to share with you not just our journey of what we did when the pandemic hit to help my son really get ahead and stay ahead of his schooling, but also how you'll be able to implement some of these key concepts into your training and development portfolio of services for your company. So we're going to kind of cover the gamut today. Here's what I'd like for you to do is, if you can, please introduce yourself, type your name in the chat, say where you're from, your company name, maybe even type in a website, maybe what you want to be able to get out of this session, because we're going to go super fast. I know we're going to be recording this session, and the good thing about the recording is you can pause the video. You know, unfortunately, you just can't pause me. And so what ended up happening, I guess, in 2020, right, when the pandemic hit, my son Harry was forced to take virtual kindergarten 4 hours a day. And any kid who has ADHD sitting in front of a laptop, you know they're going to have a hard time doing that. So what I ended up doing is figure out, well, how do I help him acquire new skills, things that he can do safely, right, with some of the latest technology, so that way he can become a leader, not just in his school, but also in the local community. And so what he ended up saying to me is, Daddy, can we play Minecraft? And I'd never heard of Minecraft. I don't know. In fact, and type in the chat real quick if you or your kids play Minecraft. I don't know how old your kids are, but I mean, they're starting so young now, the Zoom babies. So it's just kind of amazing what's happening. So in doing so, I ended up learning how to create a Raspberry Pi. In fact, this is Harry using a Raspberry Pi on his little computer, and I started recording these videos of him doing it because it's not very common for a 5-year-old to be editing Python scripts inside of a computer, right? It's not very common for a 6-year-old, he's 6 now, to be able to log into the AWS console, launch his Lightsail server. You see right now he's reading his book to find out the variable type for the different blocks, so that way when he runs the script, he can launch create these little buildings inside. So what was that Alvar Wendell Holmes says, once a man or a woman's mind has been expanded with an idea or concept, it can never be satisfied to going back to where it was. So really with Harry as the example, right, as social proof, age isn't an excuse for adapting some of the latest technology. Your biggest barrier is getting started today. And I'm going to show you how to be able to do that on a teacher budget. So this video was over a year ago. Harry now has 112 YouTube subscribers. He has a whole community of people following him and kids that are watching, because this is what kids do. I mean, did you know that the average kid in school, 1 out of 3 want to be a YouTube star? They want to kind of be a teacher and kind of play and interact with one another. So it's absolutely mind-boggling as far as the opportunities that now kids have to be able to use. So then I moved Harry over to the studio, right? And so we end up creating this. You have to see what this looks like to be able to appreciate what this looks like now. This is one of his videos.
Okay, guys, this is fun, because they actually give us a different book, and this time we're gonna read it. Welcome to Build Buddy. Thanks for joining. Ask one of your friends to join by signing up at hips/buildbuddy.org. We want to get your most amount of experience today and have fun. Are you too? And
So think about this. He's 6, and he's reading his own book inside of his own dedicated Minecraft server. I didn't go to school for IT. I was a marketing guy, right? But I learned how to do this so I could now set an example for my son, and now he's starting to figure this out, and he launches his Minecraft server from the command line interface. It's absolutely so even if I go through and I kind of like skip ahead to show you what some of these worlds look like, this is Harry building right in front of, and that's me too. You can kind of see how I kind of come in every now and then. This is Harry building in downtown St. Louis. So what we've been able to do is kind of create all these fancy ways to make learning specific to his needs, because what kid at that age doesn't love to play Minecraft, doesn't love to play games, doesn't be able to socialize? Back when I was playing video games, you could only play inside of my house, right? Or I had to go to my friend's house to be able to play. Now, with it being virtual, now we can kind of connect. Now we can record. Now we can create meaningful messages for video that we can now share with the world in our own unique and authentic way. So what I'm going to do here is, if you go back to the session description, you start to look at some of the performance objectives or the learning objectives from today's session. Number one is learning what a virtual camera is, which is different from a webcam, right? We're going to make that key distinction, then we're going to share with you how to be able to create the same exact environment that I have set up today. Next, we're going to share with you what are some best fit accessories for your in-home studio. Now, I realize you might still be going to the office and they have their own dedicated green screen studio that you have, but understand, please, everything that we're showing you today can be done by yourself without any significant technical ability, and we'll be able to do it on a teacher's budget. Well, what do you need first? Well, gosh, that's a good question. It all depends. So we're going to talk about what's best fit accessories for your studio that you might not have heard before, because I would imagine you've been on a number of these different types of programs before. And then third, this right here, and I'll tell you right now, and April, if you want to type it in, please do, just so everybody can have it. It's called Stream Deck. So Stream Deck is the new PowerPoint clicker, right? You can see that this Stream Deck console has 32 programmable buttons. I'm going to share with you not just what it is, but how can you use it to dramatically increase your productivity and dramatically decrease the time that it takes to be able to create these videos and dramatically improve the quality. So please type any questions that you have right now. In fact, what I'd like to do here real quick is, if you have a question or something you wanna that you have for me, go ahead and type it right now, and I'll do my best to monitor all of these different things as we kind of move forward. So if you're ready to have fun, let's do this. So first is, what is a virtual camera, right? So a virtual camera is different from a webcam. So let's just make that key distinction right off the bat. The virtual camera is the endpoint for your video feed, whatever is displayed to whatever meeting software, whatever social media channel that's out there, right? So for example, right now, if you are using Zoom and then you choose the video settings and video camera, you might choose the camera that's built into your computer, or you might have a webcam, right? In this instance, your virtual camera, when you install a virtual camera, which is software onto your computer, then you'll be able to connect to Zoom as your virtual camera, very similar to what I'm doing right now. And so some examples of virtual camera software that's available is OBS, stands for Open Broadcaster. That's free, right? If you like free, say free, or type free in the chat. It's pretty awesome as far as what you can do without any cost. Now, if you have a Mac computer and you want to do some a little more advanced stuff, then I might suggest Ecamm. Or maybe if you're doing super high advanced production, you might go with a software called vMix, which is only available for the PC. So again, like when you take a look at best fit, you're going to want to decide, well, what kind of virtual camera software am I going to use? And if I'm also doing this company-wide, then let's establish some protocol so that we're all operating from the same tools, same resources, moving forward. So when we think about virtual backgrounds, right? Like, virtual backgrounds, I think have been around since 2017 from what I remember. That Zoom had available. Well, people didn't really start using it till 2020, till the pandemic hit. So when you think about virtual backgrounds, very similar to what I've demonstrated earlier, is you can have an image, right? An image as a virtual background, like the Golden Gate Bridge or something. Or you could have a pre-recorded video, which I shared with you as the countdown. You could have a web page, right? So think about how many web pages you have that you need to train people on, or maybe it's a web page of your learning management system that you need to do a warm introduction and show exactly how to go through step by step. You can actually do the screen share recording and video using the same exact setup. It doesn't cost any other money. And then also too, if you have an application, let's say you have a company-specific application that you need to create demo videos with, essentially whatever's on your screen now becomes a visual. So those PowerPoint presentations that you've been using before still are valid, but when you think about dynamic and changing around content, you have a lot of different options at your disposal, right? And even think about when you used to use your PowerPoint clicker, you'd hit the next, or you'd hit back. Well, now with Stream Deck, you just have to push one button and then you go back to it, right? So all of these new options with the virtual camera that you didn't have before, so you have to install that software that you choose onto your computer to be able to connect it. And I'll go with some examples of some input sources that you can add to your virtual camera. So this right here is a video that's posted to Harry's channel. So if you go to YouTube and you type in Harry DeVitri, or I think, April, I might have sent you the link to copy and paste and put in the chat for you to see. The purpose of me sharing with you this video is actually the technical step-by-step how to be able to do all of those different things, because frankly, we just don't have the time to be able to walk through a lot of the technical and getting in the weeds today. So this video is available for you. So when you think about what are these different backgrounds that you want to be able to create? Think of these backgrounds as scenes, and for each scene has multiple different components, right? So for example, right now you have this. Like I just have one for blank. That's just kind of as a default. So if I wanted to go back and hit pause, I kind of I go to the blank scene. You might have a branded one with no camera. Like, for example, this is like a branded one with no camera. You could do the branded with camera, so that's kind of what this is right here, branded with camera. You might have screen share, lower third. So, when I go here, actually, I didn't add the kind of like in the TV where you can have it down at the bottom. That's something that's available too. Questions. I'm just going through a little technical thing here. Shoot. Okay, we're back. April, can you hear me okay? My apologies for that. Yeah, okay, cool, thank you. So we were back on here in OBS scenes. So I showed you the countdown, the lower third. Maybe you have one that's a video commercial to advertise a sponsor or some sort of vendor, or maybe you have call to actions, or maybe you have an assignment. One thing I'll also say too is, you think about recording video, or just putting video inside of your, let's say if you have a social media group and you have an option to be able to insert a video as a comment, or you want to send a video as an email. Look, how long does it take for you to type out a nice, thoughtful message to somebody by email? It could probably take you about a minute or two to send something out. Instead, you could just go into, if you have it set up already, maybe you have a congratulations scene. So you see I have a congratulations, I guess right here. You have a congratulations scene that you hit record on your Stream Deck. You talk, and then you hit stop record, and then that video is automatically saved to your computer that then you upload to your email your email, or you upload to video content, and now within a minute or two, you've created this dynamic video acknowledgement that really stands out more than anything that you might type. So that's just kind of something to think about. What I encourage you to do is get together with your team to discuss which OBS scenes are going to be most beneficial to you. How are you going to be able to design these with different types of input sources and the creative? And when you come together to be able to create some sort of templatic format or process that can be distributed company-wide, boy, you're going to be off to the races. So something to consider. Now we have now moving on to OBS input sources. So these are kind of the components that you would add into an OBS scene, right? So the first one you see, video capture. This is just webcam. Display capture is screen share. Media is just a video. Like you actually insert a video as your background that can either loop or not. So you just have to decide depending upon what the specific use case is and then choose accordingly. Now for an image as a virtual background, you can do that all day long. You can also insert multiple images too. So they act like as a layering effect as an option. So there's audio, there's text, there's a lot of different ways that you can make each scene that you create stand out in your own unique and authentic way. So I'm going to move over here to the chat because we've been going here for some time, and I just want to take a step back to see. Dylan, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Margaret, Alexa, yes. Yuli, thanks for joining. Garth, I'll make sure to connect with you later. Natasha, hello from Colorado. Let's definitely connect, right? And April, thank you for sharing Harry's YouTube channel. These are just examples for you to be able to see how to be able to create something that's unique to you. And again, all this can be done on a teacher's budget. Thank you for sharing Stream Deck. Yeah, and you got the link. And so think about Stream Deck. There's multiple different types, and we'll get into that when we get into the program. So yeah, a lot of this stuff is free or low cost. Katie says, do you see a series of slides that you were choosing from for your background? So, I have, when you think about the slides that I'm using for this type of environment, they're either image or video. Those appear inside of OBS, and then how I connect OBS to be able to pull it up is through Stream Deck. So Stream Deck actually matches which button I want to press to coordinate with which scene, and that's where the power comes from. You don't have to think about it. Think about this. If I was going to tap, let's say I was going to go to your company website, right? And you were going to tell me to type it in. So if I type it in, there's a chance I might get it wrong, right? So there's user error. There's also it might take me a while, right? It might take me actually a while to get it. Or if you're telling me to share my screen, think about that. If you're the host of the meeting, you want me to share my screen, but you're the host, and you don't know how to do it, or it's taking you a long time to be able to do that, I can say, well, wait a minute, we don't have to do that. I can just quickly go into here and then share my screen and then come right back out, right? Come right back to where you are. So Evan asks, like Adobe Connect. Yeah, absolutely. You can use this for, I haven't used it with Adobe Connect, but all we have to check inside of Adobe Connect is when it asks for the camera, which video camera you're going to use, you have to have the software installed and it has to be running, and then you just activate it, and then boom, then you're off and running. Kelly says presentation's really tiny in my lower left corner. How do I get you back in the center? I'm not quite sure exactly. What I might recommend is I did post some of the slides on SlideShare, and what I'll do is I'll copy and paste and put that in the chat. So just in case you can't see these for whatever reason, you'll be able to see that. Okay, I'm getting some mixed feedback on what it looks like. So we're gonna keep. Thank you. So we're gonna kind of move on to the next one, which is Canva. Oh my goodness, look, I realize that you might have a marketing department, but Canva is one of these tools that makes it so easy to be able to create these high quality images. And I imagine, like, if you've invested money in, let's say, some sort of marketing or branding company, I'm willing to bet they probably go to Canva to be able to create some of these things. Canva's so easy. If you're good at copy paste, drag and drop, and just resizing stuff, man, that's all this really is. When you look at these different designs that are in here so this is an example of a 1920 by 1080 image, right? This is what you use for a virtual background here. This one right here is a YouTube thumbnail, right, which requires different sizes. So even if I create a new design, I'm going to choose this presentation one that's 1920 by 1080. And then if I'm doing a YouTube thumbnail, I can't remember what it is. In fact, I think even if you type in YouTube thumbnail, yeah, there it is, 1280 by 720. And there's also, I'll show you this too, there's also a really cool feature inside of Canva that allows you to resize these things too. So any different thing, now you don't have to, I'm gonna make this assumption. By the time you explain to your marketing department what you specifically need just to release a prototype, you will have this thing designed already. I mean, that's how easy Canva is to use. So you can use Canva to create your own training magazine. You can use it to create the videos or the countdowns. In fact, if I even go here, let's see, I'll just click Add New Page, and then I'll go here to Videos. And then I'll search for before, 10 years ago, it used to be a pain in the butt to be able to find this stuff. And you would have to spend, right? You have to spend money every time you'd want to download one of these videos. I remember paying like $40 for one of these videos back in the day. Now I think with Canva Pro, which is $120 a year, you have access to all of these things. Like, so whatever it is, even if you type in Zoom, right? Or go here to Photos, this is how powerful this is. Type in Zoom, and actually there's a lot of virtual stuff now. 6 years ago, when you typed in Zoom, there was nothing. In fact, all it was magnifying glasses, what you see here. So Canva is definitely going to want to be something that you're going to want to use to create the images that you add into your scenes and the videos that you add into your scenes of different types of dimensions and so forth. There's some other more advanced, sophisticated ways of being able to create content, such as using some of the Adobe products, like After Effects. But if you're just going for, hey, I just want to get something out the door that's going to be high quality or going to be good enough, you could do this all day long and be able to crank out a ton of content in a whole lot of time. Because listen, I don't have a whole lot of time, and it's just me running the show and teaching kind of Harry on the side. So please understand that you can do all of this stuff. It just takes a little bit of time to learn and put it together. Now, cables is another aspect. Cables, accessories, and more devices, right? It's like more stuff that you might need. In fact, I'd even consider you to think about what can you do that's on a teacher's budget. Now, I have a list here, and maybe you have a list of devices or accessories that you love. What I'd encourage you to do is put those in the participant chat so we can all benefit from it. I'm just going to kind of share with you some of my favorite. We're going to talk about the Rodecaster Pro, which is a soundboard. That's something that a lot of people aren't using yet. An uninterruptible power supply. That's another one. What happens if your power goes out while you're doing a live presentation? An uninterruptible power supply will keep all of your devices hooked up and connected on its own battery source, and so that might be something you might need. A mic flag is another one. Yoga wheel, like I know we're all hunched over working now. You need to straighten up your back. A yoga wheel, or just Some stretchy bands will help. And then I love to use Amazon Alexa as my sidekick sometimes too. So these are just some of my favorites. If there's one that you'd like for me to cover more in detail, I'm happy to do that, right? I'm happy to walk you through each one of these. And I think for right now, I'm at least going to do the Rodecaster Pro because I think it's such a beneficial tool for you all to play with. So this is my soundboard that's hooked up into my computer using a USB-C, right? So this unit here, and again, and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, like there's no affiliate links for this stuff. That's not the way that I work. This is just the stuff that I use. So take what I use with a grain of salt. There might be other products that do the same thing, but this is just what I use for the sake of everybody knowing. So right now I have a professional grade microphone that's hooked up to this thing. I can also adjust the sounds for different input sources, whether it's input coming from the computer or it's coming through my mic. Now you can on the right hand side, I have these. See where these little buttons? These are MP3 files that are already loaded in here, so that once I press the button, it'll play it. So I'm gonna play some of these so you can hear them again. So this was the intro. Now, if I'm doing a virtual panel and I invite somebody to participate and they tell a funny joke, you ever do welcome or outgoing applause? If it's my joke, somebody says something off the cuff, we get in the subject of risk management. You ask a question and nobody responds. And then there's another one where you can actually record an MP3 of your own voice, or you can use text to speech, where you type in the text and it creates a speech file. So this is one. This is an example of one.
Hello. Thank you for attending what they didn't teach you in kindergarten. Sharpen your pencils. Charge your batteries. And get ready to have fun as we show you. Age isn't an excuse for using technology. The biggest limiting factor is you getting started today.
So that's using Amazon Polly. So this is an Amazon Web Services. Amazon Polly is one of the services. So you can see that there's different types of voices that you can use and pull in. So for English, you can choose the language. Say you want English, British, and you want a female Amy, and then you can listen to it here. Sorry, I had a...
Hi. My name is Amy. I will read any text you type here.
So there's a sound file that can be put into it too. So there's that's the Rodecaster Pro. Now another one I'm going to encourage you to add to your I guess your list of tools is Time Bolt, and this is super inexpensive too. Type in the chat if you love, or maybe even click the love button in the chat window if you love editing video, right? All of the ums, all of the ahs, the long pauses. If you love doing that. Well, I don't know. There's many people who just love doing that. So when Harry would be recording these videos, you know, he would play for an hour, but there was times where he wouldn't talk, right? And it wasn't that engaging. The parts of those videos just weren't that great. It was just him playing, and some people like that, but other people just prefer it to be engaging and talking the entire time. So this tool called Time Bolt, I think it's timebolt.io, is software that you install onto your computer. When you upload the video that you've just recorded, it'll slice out all of that dead air. In the video production realm, they call that jump cuts. It'll slice out all that dead air. And so even like an hour video, it'll take it down to 20 minutes, and all that 20 minutes is just talking. I tell you, your views will go up, your engagement will go up, the quality of your videos will go up just by using this. And like you're not sitting there for hours just sitting there trying to snip out the specific dead air. So combination of these tools, things that you might not have done before, will just make it that much better, right? Just incremental progress is kind of what we look for. We're not trying to do all of this overnight. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick pause here. I'm going to go back to the chat. I'm going to check it to see what some of the things that you have said. So Amy uses Venngage. Cool. I haven't seen it. I'll definitely check that out. The ring light is a good. Yeah. Well Said Labs for AI voices. Cool. Margaret, I haven't used that, but I tell you one thing I've learned how to do. When Harry was 2, I learned how to program Amazon Alexa, and one of the things that I'll do this because we have time here. But what you want to look for is Amazon blueprints. Again, this is where you don't have to. I learned to become a developer because I wanted my son to have those skills, so to be able to teach him, right? This Amazon blueprints, and you choose the FAQ blueprint. You'll be able to create these Amazon Alexa things, or these little sound bites using Alexa. And there's been many times where I've been invited on stage, and Alexa's been my sidekick, right? So you have the PowerPoint as the visual aid, and then you have Alexa as the voice aid. It's definitely a lot of fun to play with that. Yeah, Time Bolt. Definitely a good one. Cool. So. Any other questions? Any other things that you kind of want to dive deeper into, whether it's OBS or it's the input sources? Please don't be afraid to type it in the chat. We're just going to kind of keep moving forward. And if you think this stuff is cool, thank you, Margaret, for saying this is very cool. Type in cool. Let me know that this is value to you. Or maybe even type in something that you didn't know before that you're going to go try to experiment with later. Cool? All right. So here we go. What green screen are you using right now? Now, again, when we think about what like green screen is, there's all these different types of green screens that you can get, right? You can get the one that has the poles and you have to hang up the screen. You can get the one that has the portable collapsible frame that you can kind of put in a case and be able to carry it out. What this is behind, this is Harry helping me put it up. This is poster board we got from Michael's, right? $1 a sheet, and then we got the tape to put it behind the back, and then we got the command strips to be able to put it up and hang it. So for less than $20, we have a portable green screen, and we can just take it down, or sometimes we even leave it up where we go if we're going to another facility. So just don't think that you have to spend a ton of money, even if it's like your own house, right? Oh my gosh, where am I going to put the green screen? Maybe you have something easy you can pull up, take down. I know another tool that's real popular is called the Web Around. That was mentioned in my book, Screen to Screen Selling, back in 2000. I'm dating myself, 2015. A lot of different options for green screens, right? Now, Stream Deck, this is where we kind of go back into Stream Deck here. So Stream Deck is the software that you install onto your computer, and it's the gaming device. In fact, what I'm going to do here real quickly is I'm going to pull up, I think April might have put in Stream Deck in the link, but I'm just gonna pull this up so you all can see for a minute. Can y'all see that? Cool. So you can see here that this is the gaming console right here. Right, this one is what, 1, 2. This is 12 buttons. The one that I have is the 32 button. And each one of these buttons that you press on this console, this physical hardware that's attached to your computer, USB, is your future PowerPoint clicker, right? And each one of these matches up to a specific thing that you can do on your computer. So there's different types of examples here. There's the XL, that's what I have, the 32 button. This one's 12. This mini has 6. There's an app for mobile, which I don't really recommend because a lot of things can go wrong when you have connecting your mobile device. You're trying to imagine. I don't know how people present with their mobile phone on stage by swiping. That's just asking for problems. So I'd either recommend getting the 12 button or the 32 button. The 6 is just too small. In my in my humble opinion. So when you look at the different types of software this is the Stream Deck software. Can y'all see this Stream Deck software? Cool. So, and I'm sorry, this software, Stream Deck, I cannot make this bigger, okay? So I'm huge on participant usability and being able to zoom in, zoom out. I just can't do that with this Stream Deck software. But just understand that each one of these is its own button. So when I click on this button here, this will link. I have the name of the scene, or the name of the button that goes up here. I have the scene that's associated with, and that's it. This is the countdown. This is associated with the countdown scene. The OBS scenes is associated with the scenes type scene inside of OBS. So each one of these buttons is associated with it. This one right here, this one opens up an application, right? This is the Doceri desktop. I'm going to show you this here in a second. This is where you can create a digital whiteboard as your virtual background. This button is a record, right? So if you were going to think about this, if you were going to record a video, right, and you're ready, your camera ready, how complicated is it for you to use your mouse to be able to then go find the video record button inside of the menu and then be ready? It's just too much work. And then to stop the video, it's just too much work. So having the video record button on Stream Deck, it's such a huge time saver. Also, because we're switching back and forth between this, there isn't much, if any, video editing. The only video editing I might have to do with one of these recorded videos is just by using Time Bolt to cut out all the ums and ahs. So what I'd recommend doing here is do this. Create on a piece of paper. Okay? This is high tech as this gets, right? On a piece of paper, here's what I would recommend doing. And I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. Okay, what do you see on your screen right now? See a smiley face? Cool. All right, so this is, let's pretend I'm working with my group, whether it's remote or not, and I'm pulling out a piece of paper and I'm starting to draw it. But I'm just going to demonstrate this on this little virtual whiteboard. So I'm drawing out the 32 buttons that are associated with my Stream Deck. Now you say, well, why can't I just go directly into the console or into the software and start to program this? Because it's going to take you probably 5 times as longer to get it right. If you do it this way, you'll be able to create your prototypes a lot faster for your user experience, and then go back to the technical to start implementing. From doing this a number of times, this is the fastest way to be able to do it. And then also, if you're working with your team, you'll be able to get agreement on what you believe. If this becomes the standard for your standard Stream Deck profile for your entire company, let's try to get it right the first time. And I think if you're going to redesign your website and you create a prototype for your website, paper prototyping is also something that you can do. Or Evan makes a comment, storyboarding. You could do it like that. But the thing is when you do storyboarding like this, it might be good to start this way, but then go back here to the buttons, because not all of the buttons are going to be associated with specific scenes, right? So let's pretend this is the record button. Sorry, I'm running out of space. This is the screen share button. Maybe this is the call to action, right? Now you might have an MP3 file in here. You might have a lower 1/3 in the screen share. So that's a good idea to start to write these things out ahead of time on a piece of paper, and then you'll be able to move through it a whole lot faster. Whole lot faster. Just speaking from experience on this thing. So when you think about the different buttons that you have at your fingertips, inside of Stream Deck, you have the record button. It's definitely going to be one that you're going to use. Activate a new scene is going to be one. Here's another one. Open a file. Let's pretend you have a PDF inside of your computer that you know you may or you may not use. Maybe it's your policy and procedures manual, but you don't know if you're going to use it or not in your session. Well, if you have a button that's dedicated, you could hit the button and then it would open up the PDF in its own window because it's a file that's already located on your computer. So it could be an Excel spreadsheet. It could be any file that you have that's there. Also, you can have a button associated with an application. Now, you might have a hard time finding your favorite application on your computer, right? So like Doceri is an example for one. All I have to do is hit the Doceri button on my Stream Deck, and then it'll open it up without having to then like pause, then go to my, with my mouse, and then try to find the application, right? And then back out. Well, I can just hit the button on my Stream Deck, and I'm off and running. So any app, Zoom will work, Chrome will work, any of those. Now, this one's my favorite, I think, because I just use it so much, and you've seen me use it quite a bit, as you can have a button associated with a specific web page. So when you press the button, some web URLs are easier to remember than others, and some are longer, right, that takes forever. And so if you have a button associated with a web page, all you do is press the button, then it'll open up the web page in your favorite browser. Now, one thing you might run into as far as passwords, you might use a tool like LastPass that saves in your favorite passwords. Because I don't know if you've ever done this before, where you're trying to do some sort of web demo and then you forget your password. Have you ever done that before? Yeah, it's super embarrassing. So you have that option. Next would be let's even say you don't have the 32 button Stream Deck, but you want more buttons to be accessible. What there's an option inside of Stream Deck is to create one button represents a folder. So when you press on one button, it'll then open up a whole new range of buttons, and then if you want to go back to the main menu, you just hit the main menu button, and it takes you back to that. So you can have, even though you might be limited to it with your device, you still can have more configuration set up. The only challenge with that then is that it then becomes an extra button, right? Or it becomes if you're using the computer, it becomes an extra web click. And because our attention spans are so small today, I mean, think of Harry. Like, if you don't capture his attention in like 3 to 4 seconds, like, he's gone. So anything that we can do to improve the participant experience by making our setup more usable is definitely going to serve you in the future. Now, this is the Ninja button that I use quite a bit, and I have a couple of them set up, and that I've demonstrated before. It's called the multi-action button. Okay, the multi-action button. So with the multi-action button, what that means is I press one button, and it does as many things as I've configured it to do. Right. So one example of a multi-action button would be to open up the screen share scene and open up a specific web page, right? So for example, with this, I pressed the Rodecaster Pro button, right? And now it's pulled it up onto here. So now I have this to be able to show you, and then if I want to come back to where I was before, I can just kind of come back real quick, right? There isn't a whole lot of lag that's there. So, man, I don't. What's hard to tell with any program, especially when you're doing it to a big group, is Have you used something like this before? Is Stream Deck new to you? If so, what does your configuration look like? You know, when you think about releasing something like this company-wide, right? If you're gonna release this company-wide, you're gonna have a folder of all of your digital assets, right? A folder with all of the videos you plan to put in, all of the virtual backgrounds, the images, the audio files. That's gonna all be stored in an assets folder, right? The next thing you're going to have is your OBS profile or your Ecamm profile, whatever it might be. But for OBS, your OBS profile is the configuration of all of the scenes that you have created. So let's pretend that your team agrees on, right? Your team agrees on this is the perfect OBS profile that we're going to release to everybody. Well, now we just have them match up with all of the assets. And once they have a Stream Deck set up, and you create the perfect Stream Deck profile and all of that's connected, now you have consistency, especially if you have multiple people who are delivering virtual training or creating videos for your virtual training. Yeah, it's all really exciting, but you know, the mindset is here is, you know, we have to accept the fact we're going to make mistakes in the process, right? So if we're going to ask you, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you move a mountain? One rock at a time. How do you master this setup? One click at a time. So I'm here with you to support you. I'm going to go ahead and open it back up to the participant chat to see what questions you have. Elizabeth, I'm so glad that you said that you're new to this, and I think that's great, and that you're courageous that you've said that, because here's why. Now you've given yourself permission to experiment with what's possible. You know the most common question that I ask my son Harry is, what if? Harry, what if we took all of these pictures and we put it onto Canva? We made a little book and put it onto Amazon, and then we could share with people all the things we did. Is that something you want to work on together? Yes. What if we create a YouTube channel so we can share with all your friends all the fun that we're doing? Is that something you want to do? Yes. Harry, I know you love playing Minecraft all by yourself, but hey, do you want to invite all of your other friends to participate? Yes. So that yes now becomes, thank you, Elizabeth, fail, first attempt in learning. This is part of the process, right? And I'll say this too, you have to be courageous in making mistakes. You have to know that going in, something might not work the first time, but the more that you try it, the more that you practice it, boy, repetition is the mother of learning. You have to do it over and over again. In fact, I'm going to take a different look at this. What if I didn't ask him those questions? Where would he be? Still in the same place, right? He'd still be in the same place. And what the most amazing thing about this is, I'm learning just as much from him as he is from me. It's mind-boggling that someone that young could teach me things, or at least inspire me, because he asked me a question that I didn't know the answer to, and I had to lead by example. And just this, off the side here is that I remember when he was 5 and I taught him to sweep and to dive into the deep end. I was like, Harry, here's some toys. Go in the deep end and go get them from the 9-foot pool. He's like, no, I can't do that. I was like, well, watch, I'll do it. Well, I'd never done it before. I dove in with my goggles on. They fell off, but I grabbed a couple and came back up. And so just with practice, keep encouraging him. Now he can do it no problem. In fact, he can get multiple toys off the bottom without any help. So, well, one of the things that we did is we ended up creating this community of Minecraft players, right? Teachers and students. And so with any school or any other type of learning organization, we had to create a group of like-minded folks. So we have kind of this virtual PTO, which we're creating to help kids become teachers in what they're most passionate about. That's the whole concept of Build Buddy. When we build together, we learn together. So we have an opportunity. If anybody is interested in participating and they want to learn how to do something similar for for their kid setup, or maybe even just by practicing. By practicing, you'll be able to implement these for your own company. Here's what I will say. I guess this kind of looks weird because there's two of me. There are a ton of benefits that are associated with this process. A ton of them, right? There's no long-term contract with any of these vendors. These are all little software pieces that you can put together at very, very, very low cost. You have 100% ownership of the creative because you have created it using low-cost tools. You don't have to pay any extra for that. The time it takes to create these videos, essentially, I'm just showing up hitting the button to record, hitting a couple scenes, hit stop record, and then I'm done. I don't have to send it off to somebody to be able to edit it for me. I can do it all. I can do it all myself. Zoom fatigue is a big deal, and it still will be for many years to come. So the question now becomes is how can you create this gaming-like type of experience where others can immerse themselves into? That's extremely engaging, and not just someone sitting advancing slide after slide after slide and hoping that the learning would stick. So I have these as part of the slides for you to view as well. So if you have, what we can do, I guess, is we can open it up for questions. April, I don't know if there were other questions that maybe I didn't answer or that were kind of like top of mind. Happy to kind of share some of those. And if there's time, I can go in and share some extra secrets that maybe you're curious, but you're not exactly sure how.
Doug, there are actually a couple of questions in the Q&A tab if you want to hop over there. So it looks like the first one is, how have you used virtual cameras in a training environment?
Courtney, all day long. In fact, organizations hire me to come in and set up their studio. I find many organizations have this expensive equipment, but they don't even know how to use it, right? So all the time. I mean, for Zoom meetings, I'm using this. For live events like this, I'm using this. If it's for creating recorded videos to be used inside of a learning management system, this is what I'm using. Virtual camera is the new webcam. Like if you're still using the basic webcam with bookcases in the background, you're still in the herd mentality. This type of setup is the future. It's just a matter of, do you want to set yourself apart? Do you want to be more productive in the environment? And if so, then it's a matter of taking the time to figure out how. So Chelsea asks a question, how long did it take you to set up your Stream Deck? Really good question. So the first time, it took a while because I had to learn how, and I didn't have anybody walking me through side by side. And because I've helped other organizations configure their own Stream Deck profile, I've shortened my time to be able to set it up so it might only take me an hour or so to do that. So there are some things where you can copy and paste different buttons onto others. So there's time-saving tricks, and I'm happy to be able to share those with you if you're interested. But it doesn't take it doesn't take that long. It's super simple. It's just a matter of knowing what goes where, and connecting everything that you already have. Jose asks a question: how to use Alexa as a sidekick? So I think this was 2019 in Speaker Magazine. There might even be a way to look it up and share within our session here today. But I wrote an article on how to use Alexa as a sidekick. So when I do keynote presentations, I have Alexa set up that plugs it, that has that 3.5 millimeters audio jack. That then gets tied into the house sound system. I have Alexa connected to the internet connection. When I have her on mute when I'm walking up on stage, and then I don't know. I'll usually do some fun things. I'll program one of the custom blueprints. I mentioned that link in it, where you can really say whatever you want. Alexa will say whatever you want it to. So that blueprint now becomes the audio that's pulled in. So when I go up on stage, I say, Alexa, what do you think of the Association for Talent Development? whatever you want it to say. You can have it say, this is the most amazing organization, that people are wonderful, whatever. And there's infinite possibilities, but that's something also, like you practice with your PowerPoint slides, you're going to want to practice with Alexa. So if you're interested in more, or maybe connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm happy to share some of those articles with you as well. That's a really good question. If I had to pick just one, Jennifer asked this question, if I had to pick which one tool was on the high cost, what would it be? It would be me. No, all kidding aside. As I'm looking at my setup right now, probably the most expensive thing is the Rodecaster Pro for the sound. Sound is so critical with video, because if you don't nail the sound, people can't hear you, then there's really no point doing it, right? I mean, you can't do it without sound. So, all really good questions in the Q&A. I'm going to bounce back over to chat. Susan says, love the Alexa Sidekick idea. Yeah, and even think about this too with Alexa. You can program Alexa to work with your TVs and your flat screens. It's all a matter of figuring out, okay, well, what type of experience do I want to create? What's going to be easy for people to be able to do? What's super low cost, and what can we get out the door, right? Maybe this is going to be my soapbox, but I'm worn out with groups that say, well, this is going to take another 6 months. This is going to take another year. This is a 2-year project we're looking at. Well, maybe, but it doesn't have to be. And I think that there's relative value when you can get something out the door, high quality, relatively fast. I'm going to go ahead and share this link in the chat just in case you didn't. This is the link to all of the different resources that I've done the last year working with Harry, but also all of the things that have to do with virtual. You have to understand that this is, I know a lot of people have been adjusting to this new environment, but the rules have already been written, right? So even like dating back to 2015, I published this book called Screen to Screen Selling. People didn't even know what Zoom was. But now they were kind of forced to. So what's going to be? So my question to kind of you is, taking it, if you're ready to take it to the next level, or you're not ready yet, what's going to end up happening that becomes that deciding factor to push you forward? Are you going to do it because you like cool new things, or are you doing it because your boss told you to do it, or are you doing it because you really are sincerely care about the participant experience and you're willing to try as many new things as you can as possible? So you don't have to figure this all out for yourself. I just have a ton of stuff. Even if you go into Twitter or LinkedIn and you look for the screen to screen hashtag, you're going to see stuff that's dating back for years that's still relevant today. And I'd also what I would encourage you to do here too, and this is more of an ask for Harry, is that please subscribe to Harry's YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, if you want to make a young boy happy, subscribe to his YouTube channel. And I know he's going to be watching the recording here. Unfortunately, he's in school today and wasn't able to participate. But he really reads these comments, and I do filter them. And there's nothing bad. But he loves hearing the feedback from what other people have to say. So I really appreciate you kind of sticking with this. I don't think there's any more questions. Siri, Susan says, hey, Siri too. So you can try Siri, but you can't really program Siri. You know what I mean? So Alexa's one of the most usable ones that I've found. You can do Google Assistant too. It all depends on what's going to be easiest for you to get done. I'm going to say if you're going to go the voice assistant route, do the blueprints. There's Alexa blueprints. There's nothing faster than that. I'll also share with you this too. This is the Build Buddy website that we have that's set up, and this is kind of the stuff that we've been creating, right? We've been creating for the community of communities, right? The learning organization of all learning organizations kind of starts with him. So feel free to reach out to me and connect. I'm happy to answer any questions or can set up a Zoom meeting or two. I'm here as a resource. I'm here to give. I actually got involved with the Association for Talent Development back in 2010 was my first conference. So I've always tried to stay connected and give back wherever I can. So I appreciate you all for being a part of it. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.